let's talk about some of the weirdest makeup collabs that have come out. I want to do something light, fun-hearted, and I thought what better than to talk about some of the bizarre, kind of strange collabs that have come out. We've all seen tons of IP collabs, which is intellectual property. So think the Sailor Moon collabs with ColourPop. Think of any of your favorite characters collabing with any of the makeup brands out there. That's not what we're talking about today. You know, that makes sense. Let's talk about hot sauce lip gloss. Let's talk about ketchup or makeup, you know, like that's what we're gonna be getting into today. So I hope you guys will enjoy this video. As much as some of these are kind of weird or bizarre, just like unexpected, kind of give you a chuckle, I don't necessarily think that these are bad. They're definitely entertaining to watch. I think there's kind of this just shock factor to them. And makeup's for who it's for, so let me know which one of these is your fave or your least favorite. But let's get into it. Oh my gosh, I literally look like D'Artagnan in this, okay? I look like a Three Musketeers for sure. I don't know, it's giving like Pilgrim, it's giving like Salem. That's what I'm going for anyway. All right, anyway, let's get into it. The entire inspiration for this video, I'm just scrolling, I'm on Instagram scrolling in my bed, probably shouldn't be. And I come upon this new release from Laura Geller. So this is brand new, this is coming out now, if not out currently. And Laura Geller has collabed with Wheel of Fortune. I don't know why, I just didn't expect this. First off, I haven't heard a ton from Laura Geller. I think they have this like serum blush that's kind of gone viral lately, but really I feel like Laura Geller's just been hibernating in the background, and I was just shocked to see not only a new release from them being like shown on my feed somewhere, but the fact that it was a IP collab and with Wheel of Fortune. I don't know, it was just a little bit, it felt weird, it felt a little bit off, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of am into this. They have Vanna White in the promo photos for this, but let's look at the makeup for it. So if you want to get the entire collection, it's $194 value for $140. You can't use any discounts on it, and there's quite a few products in this collection. The most interesting to me, and most of the time most interesting to me with collections, is the palette. It's just a nice neutral palette. It has some of the kind of theming when it comes to the shape of it, as well as letters kind of pressed into the shadows, which make it look like Wheel of Fortune. I think it's a cute little touch, but it's not too overboard. And I don't feel like the colors in the palette necessarily go with the theming necessarily, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm down with some neutrals because I just feel like I would use those more, so I don't fault it for that. There's a blush palette in here, as well as it seems like a highlighter's in the center, and that looks like the wheel that you spin. I get the theming on this one, I totally get it. I don't know if I love it personally. Again, that's a personal preference. I don't know about that. They also have the spackle repackaged in here. There's also a lipstick in a really fun red color, as well as a casual eyeliner. So part of me kind of likes this. Like, I think it's fun that Laura Geller is getting into it. All the other brands do it. Why can't Laura Geller? You know what I mean? And I don't know if I've seen Wheel of Fortune ever done, so I think it's kind of fun. I think it's cool that Vanna White, again, is in the promo photos for it. I just think it's interesting. Unexpected, for sure. It feels a little bizarre to me. Again, just not what I was expecting Laura Geller to do, but I don't hate it, and I think it's kind of fun. Next on our list, these are in like no particular order, but let's talk about the Fenty and MSCHF collaboration that came out. This came out in August of 2022, and the entire premise behind this was, is it makeup or is it ketchup? I know, you're like, what? That's a premise? I know. MSCHF is like an art collective, so they do a lot of these types of projects. They've done like a pop-up where it's like Eat the Rich, and they've made popsicles out of different rich figures. They did this thing on Instagram once where it was called like Stolen Stories, and they shot all these stories of fancy restaurants, and people could steal them and upload them onto their own story on Instagram to kind of like flex and fake that they went to these expensive restaurants. I feel like those projects give a little bit of context to this collaboration with Fenty, and I feel like it's definitely within their wheelhouse and kind of makes sense. So for this collaboration, it was kind of inspired, I think, by the fact that, like, I don't know, I never really did this because it kind of grosses me out to put ketchup on my lips, just on my lips. I love ketchup too. I'm like weird about stuff, okay? But let's say you dip your frying ketchup, you put it on your lips, you know, and you kind of wear it as a lip gloss. That was where the ketchup comes in to the lip gloss. So it was $25 for 5 packets, and it's a mystery. Is it gonna be a gloss when you open this packet? Is it gonna be ketchup? And that's kind of it, like that's it. I think this one, as much as it's kind of silly, I think it's kind of fun. I feel like price point wise, $25 isn't too much. It's kind of a gag gift or a gag experience. It has the mystery element element of not knowing what you're gonna get. I don't know. I can see how this would be intriguing. Like, you just gotta know. I just wanna know if I'm gonna get ketchup. I just wanna know if I'm gonna get lip gloss. Although those are the only two options. And for the lip gloss, it was just, even in the interview, he said, it's just the basic Fenty lip gloss, not a lip gloss that smells like ketchup or anything. And this falls even more into, I feel like, the gag gift territory or gag experience. I don't know. I am calling it a gag experience, which sounds disgusting. But even if you opened one with lip gloss in it, it's still in a ketchup packet. So it's not like something you're gonna be using long term or long time necessarily. It's really just for that initial experience. And this feels very much social media driven in a way. Like, to me, the only reason you'd want to do this is to make a video on this and then share it. Like, I could see that being a successful video, people wanting to tune into that, but I don't imagine just doing it at home without other people watching or without other people experiencing it. I don't see that being really as fun, which is kind of an interesting aspect. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But I definitely feel like this is part of social media for sure. Like, this really only exists or becomes a thing because it's so kind of weird because of social media and the ability to share this type of stuff. And when I really think about it, I find it interesting because it has no other value outside of people watching you experiencing it, and just you experiencing it alone doesn't feel like enough for this to be worth it. I know that's weird, but I'd love to know what you think. This one was definitely bizarre, but I still think kind of fun too. Maybe that's just me as a creator making videos. I could see it being fun to like open up and see which one you got on camera, but I don't know if I'd want to do that if I knew it was just gonna be like me and my friend opening it. I don't think it'd be as fun. All right, moving on. Next, we have the hot sauce lip glosses. These were a collaboration with Winky and Applebee's. Oh my gosh, these came out in 2022 as well. I'm telling you, August and like summer of 2022, we were just getting them left and right. I was like, what is happening? We've exhausted all other options, it feels like at this point. But these were the saucy glosses. They were supposed to taste like your favorite chicken wing flavors at Applebee's. Now, I get, again, the gag gift of this all, the kind of the novelty of this item personally disgusts me. No, 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 no. I don't really want a savory gloss. I want something that smells like and tastes like a cupcake, vanilla frosting. Yes, love that. My favorite chicken wings at Applebee's? No, thank you. It's not the one for me, I can tell you that, okay? I have a Huda like plumping lip balm, and to me, it tastes too much. Like, whatever they use to plump feels like it's a pepper, like a real pepper, and I don't like that. Like, that's too savory for me. So this hot sauce I know is a no-go, like entirely. These came out to celebrate National Chicken Wing Day. I just have to say, does everything have to have a day? I mean, it's just marketing. All the days out in the world, at least the silly ones, it's just marketing, you guys. Case in point, case in point. So the flavors included Give Me Hot Buffalo, a creamy coral that packs the hot buffalo spice your ex could never have handled. Okay. Then there's Sweet Chili Kiss, a deep red with fine golden chili specks. There's Be My Honey Pepper, a golden honey spiced gloss with shimmering flecks, and the Honey Barbecue Tea, a smoky barbecue hue with a hint of honey sweetness. I'd love to know if you picked this up. Did they smell / taste like hot wings? What did you think? The smoky barbecue sounds like literally my worst nightmare out of all of them, I think. Sometimes those barbecue notes, like I have a perfume, I have a whole perfume channel if you guys don't know, but I got a sample of a perfume to me that I literally sequestered away from everything else because it's so strong, and it literally, I call it burnt hot dog skin. It just smells like burnt hot dog skin, and I can only imagine that the lip gloss has like even a touch of that, and I hate that. I hate it. So this one's definitely not for me. I'm sure it's sold out. And what's so interesting about these limited drops is that they don't have to make them to serve tons of people. And I feel like it has to be a great value for them. They know they're going to sell out. They make a limited quantity of them. Everyone knows it's not going to be around. And so there's just this really fast like hype around these products in the moment. They're kind of collector's items. They're kitschy, they're novelty, and then they're done. And they made their money like that. You know what I mean? And I mean, here I am talking about them. There is something about them that gets people talking. It's, I think, really great marketing in a lot of ways, even when it's weird, like this next one. Oh, if I didn't like the hot wings, this next one, Velveeta cheese and nails ink, this to me is Honestly horrific. Honestly horrific. This came out in June 2022, so again, the cursed year. So one of the things that Nails Inc is known for are their scented polishes. They have flavors like chocolate, rosé, and also some fruity stuff, and they decided to collaborate with Velveeta cheese and create a cheese smelling nail polish. No. It's not even, okay, cheese is stinky already. Velveeta, is it cheese? Is it cheese? I don't know. Why would you want your fingertips to smell like cheese? I just don't want my fingers to smell like anything. I want them to smell good. I want them to smell nice. I don't want them to smell like food. Like, I haven't washed my hands. Where's the stench coming from? Oh, my fingertips, don't mind me. It's my cheesy nail polish. No, that is literally mortifying, a nightmare to me. Ugh. And I can only imagine that scented nail polish, as much as like, sure, you can kind of smell whatever, like it's still nail polish. So thinking of how that's all mixing, also disgusting. It's honestly just gross. It's honestly so gross. That's what they're banking on, the gross factor of this, to be honest. I mean, they went all out. They have like full-on photo shoots for this. So this duo was called That's La Dolce Velveeta. And in here you got the yellow shade, which was La Dolce Velveeta, and it was a cheesy yellow shade. Okay, that's how they describe it. And then there was Finger Food, a rich red shade. I believe both of them just smelled like the cheese. There were also nail stickers available. Ugh. Would you buy this one? Let me know. Would you be into this? I specifically like cannot handle cheese in a lot of ways, so this to me is truly disgusting and bizarre, but I'm sure it sold out. I am sure that it sold out. Talking about a food collab that I think was still weird and bizarre, it deserves its spot on this list, but I feel like it was done really well, and I can totally see why there was so much hype around this, and again, why it sold out. I mean, all of these sold out. They're limited edition flash runs, and people are into it. So e.l.f. and Chipotle did a collaboration. This was in March of 2021. There were a lot of pieces to this collection, but first let's talk about the palette. This had neutrals, it had some green colors, and it was inspired by the layout of the actual like food items on the line as you order through Chipotle, which I think was just a nice little extra touch. I feel like if brands are gonna do these kind of bizarre, off the cuff, kind of out there collabs, I wanna see the attention to detail, and I feel like that was in this, and that's what makes it like weirdly like, yeah, they did something weird, but they did it right. You know, they did it all the way, and there's something to that, regardless if you're gonna buy it, regardless if you love it, that at least it's kind of like they're respecting the lovers of both brands in that way. Does that make sense? Although if you read, there are articles about all of these, like in Allure and all these things, and it's like, hearing the brands talk about what they're talking about, let me read you this. It was like, we share the same renegade spirit and are both committed to bringing the best ingredients to our customers at extraordinary prices. It's just these weird dystopian like press releases about product. Like, it's just weird. It's like reading them, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, the palette was really pretty. I'm sure the quality was actually pretty great too of the shadows themselves. And again, I love the attention to detail. The lip gloss in here, it had like a salsa vibe to it. I don't think it actually tasted like salsa, but I do believe that it had a bit of a plumping effect to kind of give that same vibe. There was an avocado shaped sponge set. So there were two sponges. One was like the green avocado, one was like the pit, which I thought was really cute. And then I think the best part of this collection was the chip bag. So they created a makeup bag that looks like one of the paper bags you get like to go at Chipotle, and I thought that was just a really cute touch and something completely different. Like, they really had to like make that, and I feel like at least there was that. On top of this, collab was pretty affordable overall. The palette retailed for like $16, the makeup bag was $18. I'm sure there was a set you could get everything for, and as much as it was bizarre, I do feel like this is one of the more successful ones to me, or one of the ones that I could see myself being most interested in. But also, it's not just for show. This is another one that does feel like, oh, let me show you this weird collab. Like, it feels very social media driven in a lot of ways, but I feel like if you were to get this, all of the aspects of this are good enough on their own as just makeup items as well, and I like that. Like, if we're gonna do this, I like the fact that someone could buy the Chipotle palette for funsies in the moment because they like e.l.f. and they like Chipotle, but at the end of the day, you know, later on, because this is an item that's going to exist, you can use that item. It's good quality makeup still and all of that. And I think that's really great about it. And that also goes into another e.l.f. collab that's in this list, and that's their collab with American Eagle. I actually have a few pieces from this. I talked about this because, you know, IP collabs, like I said, they're all over the place. It feels like brands are constantly going like, with our powers combined, we can sell this product to all of these people. And that seems to be what they're relying on a lot lately, especially in the makeup world. But the American Eagle collab did that same thing where, yes, it's kind of weird, like, why a jeans company, why with e.l.f., like, okay, like, what's happening? But they paid attention to the details. They put the time into these little details that I feel like make it feel more significant. Anyway, I bring up my Curse of the Beauty Community video because I mentioned this palette in there, but this is the palette. It also came with a face mask, or you could use it on your butt if you wanted to. That was kind of in the promo photos of like having the face mask on the butt, which is kind of cute, very cheeky, if you will. There's also a pH changing like lip balm, and there was also a really cute makeup bag. So this is what the palette looks like, and as you can see, there's a little tag here, which it looks like the tag on the denim. It has the imprint of the jeans, like the back embroidery on the pocket of the jeans is in the pans of the eyeshadow. Obviously the tones in here are inspired by denim and neutrals, and they're pretty good quality, let me tell you. And so I feel like the attention to detail on that, I feel like sets the bar. Like, that's what I want from these collabs. If you're gonna do something weird, like I said, do it right. Do it right. Go all the way. Do it with your full chest. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what these collabs have done so far with e.l.f. At least the Chipotle and American Eagle ones. I thought since we're here, I would show you the denim bag because, again, it is literally a pair of jeans. It is the pocket. The pocket's like workable. It has the American Eagle patch, and it's pretty cute. It's definitely going there with the theme, for sure. When I was doing research for this video, I thought it was so interesting because I didn't know this. I'm not over on TikTok, but along with this like launch and kind of campaign, they even created a whole song and a whole sweepstakes. So I'd really love to know. I could not figure out who won this sweepstakes. I'm like looking for articles like who won. The idea behind this campaign was from selfie to belfie, and no one specifically states what the fuck a belfie is. Is it a butt selfie in your jeans? Is that what it is? I think that's what they're saying, but selfie to belfie, I need you to stop. They created a song. If I can put it in here without getting copyright struck, I will. 3, 2, 1. Take a belfie. Take a selfie. Take a belfie. Anyway, it was a whole sweepstakes, and the winner would be dubbed Jean Queen, and they would also get like $10,000. Like, the grand prize was pretty, like, okay, well, actually, maybe I will selfie to belfie for $10,000. I just didn't realize all of that also went into this collaboration and into this launch. But I really wish I could know, like, who won the $10,000.
There's got to be a way to make $20,000.
Like, I'm so happy that they won that. Whoever that is, I'm glad you selfie to belfie. Jean Queen, go girl. Get that money for this collab, seriously. This next one on the list is a personal one for me. I just don't like this palette. I don't really like this IP. I've never even seen this IP, so like, can I judge it? Probably not, but I'm just trying to tell you with my gut what I don't like about it. And this one is the Urban Decay and She-Hulk palette collab. There were 2 palettes technically in this collaboration, I believe. I mean, this shouldn't have been unexpected for Urban Decay at this point. They have collabed with different like movie franchises, and they've even collabed with Marvel IP in the past with I think they did an Eternals collection. It was like a whole holiday collection, so it shouldn't have been a surprise, but I just hated the idea of this. I hated the packaging on this. I hated the She-Hulk whole thing. I didn't want that makeup. No one wants this makeup. No one wants this. No one does. Okay, maybe I'm speaking for way too many people here, but I sure as hell didn't want this. And I actually got sent this palette, and here's the thing. As much as I personally didn't like the theming and all that, I did think the shadows were pretty nice. Like, they were pretty colors. I just would have loved that to be in some other type of theming, in a different packaging. I didn't really like the layout of the pans on this one. I just felt like, what is going on? When I think of Urban Decay, it just felt so removed from like past stuff I like love from them. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, what contract did you sign? Why did you do this? And I'm sure it's successful. I'm sure it's making them money. I don't know back end stuff, so you know, I'm just here telling you how I feel as a customer. And I just feel like some really great makeup was hidden within that outer shell, and I really wish that it hadn't been, personally. So I really hated that collab, and I'm putting it in here because I just personally have a vendetta against it. I believe we have 3 more to talk about. Next, I want to talk about the MAC and Sims collab. This came out in 2021, the beginning of the year, and this got a ton of backlash, Like, look at the palette up here, you guys. When you think of The Sims, I mean, I've never played The Sims, so I'm not a good judge of like, does this match The Sims? But the actual color scheme itself is very neutral, very kind of boring, and you see the packaging and you're like, okay, maybe we'll get some of those colors, maybe there'll at least be a green in there. Like, even for me, I feel like, okay, a little like pop of green, at least something. Nope, a completely neutral palette. Now, I don't feel like that's the only thing that makes this actual like real life purchasable makeup a bad collab. The packaging on this, besides the outer box, literally had nothing to do with The Sims at all. And this was an already made palette from MAC. I just don't think that was a good idea for them because of the fact that it feels cheap. Like when we're talking about the e.l.f. and American Eagle stuff, when we're talking about the e.l.f. and Chipotle, this feels like the opposite in terms of work and thought that went into it. And I'm not trying to say that thought didn't go into it, but this just doesn't look like it. I mean, this doesn't feel like it as a consumer. Why would I buy that just for outer packaging that you throw away? There's not even like cute Sims stuff or Sims logoing or branding on the actual like piece of makeup that you're gonna actually be keeping. So I felt like that was a bad move on MAC's part. Now, when I was doing my research for this video, I didn't realize that the entire kind of collaboration of this, it was like twofold. It's not just the real life makeup out in our world, but they actually created MAC makeup in the Sims game. So you could then add makeup to your Sims characters using some of the most iconic MAC makeup. And when I think of that, I think that's a really cool idea. In that way, I really love that part of the collab. And even the creator of this, who was like working on making this, mentioned that like the reason those colors were chosen was because those colors looked good in the game. And when I think of like sculpting the face and those types of things, I kind of get it, you know, like I kind of see how that could have just been a really bad calculation. I really wish they did just separate things though. Make the iconic makeup in the game as part of the collab. Okay, love that. And then make a really cool collab for us to buy in real life, like tangible makeup out here as well that is collaborating with The Sims. I think that would have been a better way to go, but this was definitely pretty weird and bizarre because it was just so poorly received, and I feel like for a decently good reason, especially too when you think of MAC's track record. Like, they've collabed with a lot of IP, and they, I feel like, were one of the brands that was doing that way before everyone else, at least in my recollection. So we've seen them come out with cute packaging that is themed to a specific IP or has different characters on it. So I just feel like they definitely could have gone further with this, and it felt low effort, and it felt like, are you just trying to sell old makeup, you know? That one definitely I feel like upset some people, and it was just, I don't think, as well done as it should have been. But I will say, once I found out that it was doing the makeup in the game, I was even more disappointed that it wasn't better received, because I think that's really cool that they added that to the game itself. All right, next, another collab that came out in 2021. This one was with the Sephora collection, and it was with Coach. And I felt like this was so odd. I think at the time I thought of Coach as like a designer brand. I didn't really know Coach. I don't own anything Coach. So this is just, again, what my perception of Coach was, but I did not expect it to be so playful. Now looking at Coach, there are tons of cute, very almost Kate Spade-esque types of bags coming out from Coach. They're doing more collabs with like Disney and more characters and just fun stuff. So when I look at this collab with that knowledge now, I don't feel like this is as bizarre of characters, but it's still just a weird thing. It's not very practical, and it's kind of weird that it was with Sephora collection. I don't know. It just, the whole thing felt like, what's happening here? But this collection had products ranging from $16 to $68. There were 3 different palettes, 2 eye palettes, 1 face palette, and they were different characters. Like in this article, they talked about them as having different names. So there's Rexy, which is the dinosaur one. There's Sharky, and then there's Uni, which is the face palette. So I didn't know they had names, but they do. It's a very playful collection. That's what they were going for with this. So I do feel like they nailed that for sure. So the palettes themselves though, they have these keychain pieces on them, which I really actually like that. I wish wish somehow they could find a way, like maybe these are compacts or not with actual product in them, but like mirrors or something. I don't know. I think like having the Coach logo and like a nice piece of hardware, I like the idea, but they were attached to these pallets and they basically could move. Like the top part is like magnetic. If you've ever seen the Inglot like Freedom palettes, they have like a magnetic system as well where like the lid kind of slides on. That's kind of what these were like. The dinosaur one was more warm and neutral. The shark one had a little bit more cool tone to it. And then the face palette, this is what I find interesting. The uni palette, which is the face palette, was very light in tone overall. And in the article themselves, they talk about being super inclusive and all this stuff. And I'm like, Sephora's collection goal, not only to create affordable and inclusive beauty products, but to inspire clients to play. And I'm like, where's the inclusivity in this? Why are you even bringing that up in this article with this collection? Like, I don't even understand that. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? These also were decently expensive. I feel like $38 for a 6-pan palette. I don't know, not necessarily cheap, but I guess not expensive for the Coach name to go along with it. They also had a brush set which had the characters on it, as well as some of the Coach like flowers that are very popular. So it came in a stand. There were lip glosses. I was like just kind of like, what is going on with this collection? It felt kind of out of left field, although we've seen Sephora, I guess, do other collabs with other designer houses. So I'm assuming that might have something to do with Sephora being owned by LVMH, but I don't know. To me, it was like a little weird, a little bizarre. And I also feel like, again, the kind of idea of the makeup being cool and have the keychain kind of overran the actual functionality of the makeup. And again, it being so playful, which was their intention, just kind of caught me off guard. But if you know Coach, you probably were like maybe not as shocked as I was. If you're like into the Coach stuff, you're probably like, oh no, these are characters we know. Like they're saying like these are Coach characters, kind of like. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that, especially if you're really into Coach products. All right, last, but we'll have a bonus item. This is the KVD and Too Faced collection. This is the oldest one here. Came out in 2016. Doesn't that feel like so long ago, you guys? And this was a collaboration of two big makeup brands. And I feel like this was weird, I guess we'll say at the time, or just like unexpected because most brands weren't collabing in this way. I actually wouldn't be as surprised if this happened today because on Instagram, you'll see brands like doing giveaways together, kind of being friendly with each other in that way. But this isn't just an Instagram giveaway with X brand and X brand. This was a full-on collaboration, creating products, and we have two very polarizing players here, Kat Von D, Jared Blandino of Too Faced. So you know, we're not going to get into all of that, but I will say their aesthetics of their brands are very different, yet I feel like they still have the same energy of like they go hard for what they're going hard for. So in that way, I can kind of see this two worlds coming together, which was kind of what they were doing here. It's an interesting concept. There's an Allure article that I was reading for this, and some of this stuff they're saying, I just felt like, damn, you guys, were you really you were that excited for this collab? Here's a direct quote, the first thing in the article. It says, update. You guys, the wait is over. The Kat Von D and Too Faced collaboration, Better Together, is now available online and in stores, and we are legitimately losing our shit. Calm down. Allure, calm down. Although we definitely got to play with both KVD and Too Faced products, both within the collab and outside of before today, there's nothing like seeing a product we've been obsessing over all year finally drop for sale. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, in here, I feel like one of the biggest things was the eye palette itself. This was pretty interesting. So it was two halves of a heart. It was inspired by like a friendship necklace. You know how you have the beef fry and stend pieces of a heart that you'd each wear. You know what it is. And so on one side you have the KVD side, which was more dark and smoky. There was like a pop of red, lots of blacks and grays. And then on the Too Faced side, it was supposed to be lighter, romantic. It had more warm shades overall. And they definitely were giving different vibes. They also used like different pan shapes to really represent the different brands, which I thought was smart because Too Faced did some heart-shaped pans and KVD was known at the time for this longer pan. So there were a lot of little touches there. The palette also itself came apart, so it was magnetized down the middle. You could really split it like it was a heart you know, shape necklace, which again, love the attention to detail. I don't like all the dead space. I feel like we could have designed that maybe a little bit better or something. I don't know. To this day, it still bothers me, all the dead space around a palette. I just don't love that when something's like way bigger than it needs to be. I just personally hate that no matter what. So that's just like a nitpicky thing overall. There also were makeup bags. I can't tell if it's one makeup bag and each side is each of these animals or if it's two separate ones. It's hard to tell, honestly, looking at these articles, but they also incorporated their two different pets in here. Like, it really did feel like a lot of their personal stuff went into this collab, and it's pretty interesting more so looking back and being like, wow, this was like the collab at the time. And to me, it really does showcase like how different things are when you think of the most popular brands now. Like, this isn't happening, and to think of a time where this was viable and Allure riding like the most anticipated launch ever just feels like so removed from reality today. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty interesting. That one definitely is a little bit of a weird one, definitely interesting, a little bizarre. But last I want to leave you off with, this is kind of a bonus because it's not an actual makeup item, but Benefit and Crocs did a collab. Do you guys know about this one? I personally had forgot about this, and Kelly had told me about it. Crocs on their own are bizarre. Can we all get around that? I know they've kind of made their comeback from this ugly shoe everyone ragged on to now everyone's wearing them like ironically slash does like them slash I don't know, they're cool. Like, they're actually legitimately cool now. There's Shrek ones, Post Malone's doing ones. There's these little, they call them giblets or gibbets. Let me find it, let me tell you. So this launch with Benefit and Crocs was in July of 2021. It sold out, don't worry guys. We knew it would sell out. All of these little launches, they sell out so much. I do feel like the KVD and Too Faced one is a little different. I don't think they made limited launches. They weren't doing it in this kind of shock value way. They were doing it in this legit way of like, no, we're creating all this stock, and if you guys really like it, we'll do a part 2. Like, it felt more in line with how launches were going back then, whereas everything else truly feels a little bit more, maybe not the Coach one, that one feels more like how the Too Faced one was, but all the other ones, they know what they're doing. You can tell, like, they know they're here for the spectacle of it all, you know what I'm saying? And they're using that spectacle to their advantage to make cash like that, you know? Anyway, the Benefit collab, there were 2 different Crocs that came out. They made them pink and sparkly, and then what you can do is you can add these, what they call gibbets. Oh, I hate saying that word, gibbets. You can add these little gibbets to them to decorate your Crocs how you want to. I mean, it's really genius. It's really quite genius. And the thing that was in here, they had a mirror compact. So it was this Benefit compact gibbet that you can add to your shoe so you can touch up on the go. Did we mention there's a real mirror charm? That way you can stay glowing on the go. Me. Oh, let me touch up my lipstick really fast. Grab off your shoe, which depending on where it was, like, disgusting. And then you look at yourself and touch up, please. Hilarious, not real. Like, are we living in the real world? What's happening? Is it all just jokes? I mean, in that way, it's funny. It almost feels like parroting themselves, but real. Like, what's going on? What is legitimately going on? Seriously. But I also do feel like if it's for you, it's for you. I'd love to know if you picked any of these up. Do you like it? Are you happy you picked them up? Was it good quality? Does it bring you joy? Let me know. These are just the ones that I felt like were kind of weird, bizarre. I kind of had this like, what's going on reaction to these collab items, but I'd love to know your thoughts. Are there any that I missed that you think are like weird or bizarre? I'd love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you just enjoyed the video. Hope you could chill out and just have a good time. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are all doing well. I'm sending you all so much love. And other than that, I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.